Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, I'm John, this is Many a True Nerd, and welcome back to Fallout Tale of Two Wastelands, where last time we did a bit of historical preservation work for the lovely Abraham Washington, and in doing so, we met Sydney, a young lady with some slight unresolved issues related to her missing father. And today, we're gonna sort that out, bringing us right here to the ghoul city of Underworlds. And to be more specific, we're here to begin Reilly's Rangers, which is a mission I really rather enjoyed just because, yes, it's got a bit of an interesting setup to it, which is many missions in Fallout, and indeed in many video games actually, follow the same basic principle. You rock up into town, you speak to everybody, and a few people in town are going to say, "Oh my goodness, adventurer, my daughter has just been kidnapped by gorillas. If you get her back, you can have my grandfather's enchanted underwear. I'll mark the location the gorillas took her on your map. Off you go, I'll just stand here and wait for you to do that." But Reilly's Rangers has got a bit of an interesting twist. Because while the relevant quest giver absolutely can be found in the town of Underworld, yes, there is a slight complication, which is she's unconscious. In fact, actually, yeah, she's a bit worse off than that. She's effectively in a coma, meaning you can't actually speak to her to begin this mission until such time as you can pass one of two skill checks. Either you've got the medical skill to wake her up, or you've got the speech skill to persuade the doctor to do the same. Because right now he's just letting her sleep, he thinks that's for the best. And the reason for that is because, yes, this mission could be a bit vicious at the very lowest levels, because it's going to bring you right into the middle of Vernon Square, one of the highest concentrations of super mutants in the entire DC ruins, so yes, can be a little bit on the nasty side. So yes, the game just has this really elegant organic skill check just to slightly dissuade you from doing this until you're a bit more ready for it. Though there is absolutely nothing to stop you just charging straight into Vernon Square at level 2 and blasting your way up to the rest of the Rangers if that's what you're absolutely determined to do. So fortunately, we don't need to worry about that. We can get Reilly up on her feet, which is really useful because yes, she's going to give me some very helpful tips indeed. So step 1, just have a nice chat with Reilly, and yes indeed, unfortunately she appears to be in a coma. Doing that triggers the doctor to come over and have a word, because until you've interacted with Reilly, the doctor won't speak to you about her.
I'm afraid she's going to be out for a while. She's not well at all. Don't worry though, I'm sure the rest of Reilly's Rangers will show up soon and take her home.
So there we flipping go. The doctor's now willing to speak to me about Reilly, and the reason he's not too worried about her is because he knows she's got a whole team out there somewhere. And here we go with the 2 ways to proceed if you want to have a chat with Reilly. So, number 1, ask the good doctor if you're allowed to try and revive her.
Unless you're an expert at medicine, I wouldn't recommend it. You may end up doing more harm than good. However, I'm all for helping my patients, so if you think you have the ability, be my guest.
Or indeed, up at the top, hang on doctor, I'm not done with you yet actually. There we go, a good speech check so the doctor can do it, and there's a really fun twist with this, which is, yes, the doctor did just warn me that unless I was an expert, I definitely shouldn't attempt to wake her up. And in fact, he specifically warned me it might be, bad for her if she were to be woken up. You see, right now, I've got medicine of 62, which is pretty good if hardly spectacular, but I think it should just be enough to, there we go, medicine skill high enough to attempt to administer the proper treatment on Reilly and bring her around. So we're going to do that. Revive Reilly. Right now, she gets right up, but if we just step away from her before she actually, yes, gets over to me to say hi, you may notice she's not doing so hot, because, yes indeed, both of her legs are not in good shape. I've just woken her up prematurely, and as a result of that, I've actually caused her some damage, because, yes, when you think about it, the medicine skill in Fallout doesn't really make me a doctor, because what it controls is how effectively I can use stimpaks and whatnot. Basically, someone who's okay at battlefield medicine in an emergency. It does not make me a qualified doctor. And in fact, in old Fallout, of course, these were separate skills. There was the first aid skill, and there was the doctor skill. And they were completely distinct, and I'd like to think that, yes, this is a similar sort of scenario. Basically, I'm a sort of competent first aider who decided to start messing around with a patient in a coma, and as a result, I've done a lot of damage to poor Reilly. However, on the other hand, if you get Doc Barrows to do it, because, he actually is a properly trained doctor with years of medical experience and whatnot.
Very well. This is against my better judgment, but so be it. I just hope she has the strength to cope with the system shock.
There we go, Reilly's up on her feet, and on this occasion, her legs are actually fine. Because basically, Doc Barrows is objectively a better doctor than you are. Which I just think is absolutely marvellous, and does represent a bit of, yes, a difference of interpretation as to what the medicine skill means between Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas. Because all over Fallout New Vegas, there are scenarios where if you go in with a decent medical skill, you can basically do a better job at performing operations and doing, you know, complex doctor stuff than actual doctors could do. Whereas in Fallout 3, a high medicine skill basically just means you're really bloody good at first aid, but you're definitely still not as good as an actual doctor is. And as Reilly comes up to say hello to us, yes, there's one other rather fun thing about her.
What? Where am I? What happened? How long have I been out?
Okay, several months unfortunately. Sorry, that's kind of my bad, I have been ignoring this, but in my defense, I did just arrange for a doct to wake you up, rather than attempting to do it myself, so you're very bloody welcome. So okay, Reilly, step one, give me the story as to what's going on here.
We were mapping the Vernon Square part of the downtown ruins and got jumped by a super mutant ambush party. Usually it isn't a problem, but this group was bigger than usual. We fought our way into Our Lady of Hope Hospital, hoping to find cover. Eventually, the fight spilled into the Statesman Hotel, and we ran all the way to the roof. I left my guys up there and tried to stealth out, but got caught by a mutie ambush patrol. That was the last thing I remember.
So there we go, that's what she wants us to do, get her guys out safely from the Statesman Hotel. Lovely. And yes indeed, fun thing about Reilly, she's one of the characters who doesn't acknowledge that you are the god protagonist sent from on high to solve everybody's problems for them. So if you're a dick to her, basically she'll just shut you out. She will not speak to you anymore, refuse to engage with you, and as a result of that, you will simply not be able to proceed any further with this mission, get any rewards, etc, etc. So forget it, may as well just shoot myself in the head and save the trouble, given, yes, as you were saying, there are many super mutants there.
Wow, you really are an asshole. Fine. I hope their deaths sit well on your conscience.
And there we go, that's it. Reilly will now never speak to you again.
Get the hell out of my face.
And that's it. That's the end of Reilly's Rangers in this universe. But no. We're not going to be doing that.
Whew. I was holding my breath on that one, I think. I wasn't sure what you were going to say. All I ask is that you hurry. I don't know how much longer they will be able to survive up there. I also recommend you try and find the body of Theo, one of my men. He was carrying our main ammo supply. Here, let me punch the ammo box code and some better directions into your Pip-Boy there.
And that there is why you definitely want to speak to Reilly before you begin this mission proper. For the simple reason that is the only way to get hold of Theo's ammo stash. If you go there normally, you'll find the box, but yes, it's not locked, you need the code to get it open. On top of that, she can also give you some rather useful directions.
We have a headquarters not far from here. If you can make it there, you're welcome to anything you need inside. Just punch in Reilly 0247 at the gate. We have ammo, supplies, you name it.
Fun fact, Reilly, I've literally already done that, because you may recall we visited the Ranger compound already. That's why all the stuff inside is marked as green and you can just take it. The game just kind of assumes that anyone inside is going to be there because Reilly sent them there and gave them the code. So if you break in early before you even know what the Rangers are, you can just rob the place anyway, and yes, you kind of get given permission retroactively by Reilly down the line.
If I wasn't asking for your help, I'd tell you to stay away. It's thick with super mutants. I don't know why. Butcher, our team medic, has always suspected something's in the area they are looking for or being attracted to. The only place worse I can think of is the mall.
And yes, indeed, like Reilly is suggesting, there is in fact a reason why the mutants might be in this area, and we'll be getting to that momentarily.
Your best bet is to stay with the metro tunnels. Head north from here to Metro Central. Then look for the tunnels to the DuPont Circle Station. Exit from the DuPont Circle Station into what we call the dry sewers, and eventually you'll wind up in Our Lady of Hope Hospital.
So, what Reilly's just given me there is conceptually very useful. She's given me directions that let me bypass Vernon Square entirely. The problem is, those instructions are, yes, confusingly and not entirely accurately worded. Now, fortunately, if you've been watching this series, you now know how to navigate the metro, so Okay, from here, head north to Metro Central, then look for the tunnels to DuPont Circle. Well, okay, we know how to do this. Here we go. Right now we're at Museum on the red line, so if we just follow that northwards, Metro Central, then DuPont. Brilliant. So just head underground and follow the red line up 2 stops. And even better, you can nip underground to verify using the lit up sign that the path is open. Because yes, any branches lit up, that means you can make it on foot. So yes indeed, I can make it straight from Museum up to DuPont. Though what Reilly can't tell you, because it wouldn't make sense for her to say this, is you've almost certainly already done this journey. Because the back door from GNR leads right into DuPont Circle. So as a result of that, yes, if you just went out the back door, which the vast majority of players did, you'll already have made it to pretty much precisely where you're supposed to be going. The route, in fact, in her note is basically, yes, the route you take from GNR down to the mall, just in reverse. The only tricky bit being that second sentence there, which is you cannot exit from DuPont Circle Station into the dry sewers. There is simply no connection between these two things. Instead, what you need to do is leave DuPont Circle Station into DuPont Circle and then locate the dry sewers in the surrounding area, which is a bit of a mess because it's a very big area with like 8 different metros and whatnot feeding into it. So okay, here's what you do. We're here in DuPont Circle Station right now. Just make your way up to, yes, this exit right here into DuPont Circle itself. Then we just want to be moseying up in this direction and keeping an eye out for raiders and mines, because this area is swimming in the bastards. So completely ignore the giant fountain over there. We don't need to be worrying about that, and we don't need to be worrying about ghouls either, because yes, I'm wearing the ghoul mask, so they're not going to be causing trouble for me. Instead, just mosey on over this bridge and head into the side streets. This is going to bring me in precisely the direction I need to go, so just watch out for, you know, maybe... I just triggered a grenade trap, didn't I? That's fine. That's all absolutely fine. I didn't explode myself. It's all going to be a-okay. It's just, yes, take out a handful of basic raiders. This is a nice low-level area, so, yeah, I'm not expecting anything too dangerous here. Pop them in the head. Lovely. Grim Reaper's sprint will keep my VATS in tip-top shape, so... oh guys, you are bringing very, very poor quality weaponry to this fight. And here we go, as you can see from, yes, the symbol right there, we are now at the back of the hospital. Presumably it is a very large building indeed. But, on the way, let us not overlook Lady Frumperton's fashions. This place has basically nothing of note in it whatsoever, aside from yes, one skill book right here, but... it holds a special place in my heart, because I came here very early on during my very first Fallout 3 playthrough, and, hang on, I know you're around here somewhere. I found a pre-war bonnet, and I wore that thing for the vast majority of my first playthrough, just because it amused me, damn it. And yes, if you're looking for a particular pre-war outfit or set of glasses or whatnot, there's a very good chance you can find it here. So, leave Lady Frumperton's behind, and yes, just round the corner, we're pretty much there at this point, so we can ignore the vast majority of the raiders and mines and whatnot. DuPont East, this is where we want to go, because yes, just round the corner here, the gurney gives it away. We've got ourselves right here, Hospital Maintenance, which is not called Hospital Maintenance, it's called the Dry Sewer. Why it's not called something, you know, more distinctive, I don't know, it's just not. So just mosey on down here, and yes, this area is nice and easy to take care of. It's very, very short indeed. It's a nice, simple way to get into the hospital. So don't mind me, a handful of Talon Company mercs in the way. Just need to take you stupid bastards down, no trouble. Love the goggles though, really nice goggles there. You'll also be running into a bit of a fight here, so yes, the Talon Company mercs will be taking on, I think it's a couple of super mutants, but yes, with this mod, I think the Talon Company mercs should very easily win, because they've definitely got some slightly upgraded equipment going on. Just, take out number 1 right over there, and then just, yes, make sure we wait for the fight to end before we bother getting involved. Lovely. There we go, 1 Talon Company merc taking on 1 Master, 1 basic mutant. Basically, yes, not my business at the moment. I'll just be staying out of that one. If we're lucky, yeah, you've got very good armor. You might be able to take out both of them without too much trouble. Okay, Talon goes down, so he actually lost that one, was not expecting that, and it's because he was focused on the Master. Had he taken out, yes, the basic super mutant first, there's a good chance that maybe he would have won. Just take out you, quick reload, lovely. Now you should be coming back with a big old light machine gun, marvellous. Not going to do you too much good though, to be honest. A couple of shots from this and... okay, that knocks you down. Good dramatic slow-mo right there. Magnificent. Just get up to you, buddy, and in just a second, drops his gun. Better and better. Plenty more gurneys down underground too. The story of this place is kind of cool, by the way, because, yes, you definitely get the feeling that at some point, the super mutants came up into the hospital in order to potentially wheel out all the patients and eat them. I mean, that or yes, the medical administration had some really bloody dark secrets. Because, yes, it doesn't feel right there are this many corpses and this many gurneys just floating around in the sewers. On your way past in this tunnel, just grab yourself a Dean's Electronics, lovely. And there we go, just round the corner, handful more mutants, various bits and pieces, but nowhere near as many as we would fight up above. And we've got a back door into Our Lady of Hope. Beautiful, though. As I say, this is entirely optional. You do not need to follow the slightly confusingly worded directions that Reilly gives you. So screw it, let's just nip back outside, because today I'm going to do things the stupid way. Because screw it, the Statesman Hotel is literally right there, and I've already been to Vernon Square East. We passed by it on our way to Tacoma, and it's also where the Vault Tech headquarters is. So, okay, we're going on foot. And yes, I am fully aware this brings me to Abernathy Station, which is right here, which makes it look like I am an entire 2 stops away from Vernon Square, when Vernon Square is in fact, yes, literally over the road in that sort of a direction, but... okay, sometimes the map doesn't make a huge amount of sense. The DC ruins are bloody nonsense. Instead, just mosey off in this direction, and in just a second, we should have, yeah, I think I see one mutant as needs to be murdered, but just one. One isolated guy should not be too much trouble. Okay, you're a master, I saw you there, so... down on the ground, please, down on the ground. What did I just say? There we go, that'll let me get nice and up close to him. There's definitely going to be more, by the way, but as long as it's not overlords, it's not so bad in the grand scheme of things. Down you go. Right, who else is here and shooting at me for the moment? And okay, I see one master over there. Honestly, it's not so bad. No one over here, because yes, fortunately, the guys I killed when I was here previously, they have not respawned, so that's actually kind of good news. And you appear to be moseying down towards me. Lovely. So yes, just to confirm, that there is Abernathy. Then if I just literally, you know, turn around slightly, that there is Vernon Square. And according to the Metro map, there's supposed to be a stop between the two. I feel like you could have spaced out the stations slightly more, but what do I know? I've never designed a metro system. I also do enjoy coming on foot because, yes, we do get a cinema that tells us the films that were playing on Apocalypse Day in the Fallout universe. So, obviously, Destination Anchorage, we had some war propaganda, The Nutty Nanny, presumably some form of comedy, a mashup of The Nutty Professor and Mrs. Doubtfire, perhaps. But I have a particular fondness for P.S. I Hate You, presumably a parody of P.S. I Love You, which came out in 2007, a year before Fallout 3 came out, and just in case you've never seen it, P.S. I Love You is a film about a married couple where the husband dies and arranges for letters to be delivered to his wife after his death on a regular basis. So I kind of assume that in this universe instead, we got P.S. I Hate You, where the dying husband arranged for his wife to receive letters for years into the future about how much he actually despised her, and their marriage was actually a sham, revealing more and more devastating details with each passing letter. And I want to see that film, that sounds hilarious. Unfortunately, we're already pretty much here, so there's the hotel, hospital down in that direction, and the bridge that links the two right here. And rather delightfully, the front door to the Statesman Hotel is wide open. You can just go in straight off the streets. There is naturally a bit of a limit as to how much you can get done coming in the front door. You sadly cannot just walk straight in, go up to the roof and completely bypass the hospital. There is no way to get from this floor up to the top floor because, for the time being, the elevator's got no power. It can only be restored from above. But, bare minimum, we've made our escape a bit easier, hopefully. And on top of that, because yes, we're not currently engaged in a high-stakes escape, etc, etc, we've got time to check in with the front desk. Most systems aren't currently operational, but what we do still have is complaint files, some of which are rather interesting. Especially as, yes, they do introduce one of my favourite dumb pre-war characters, Harold Worthington III, who claims the ice machine on the second floor was leaking water, which caused the tile floor to get wet. He then apparently slipped and fell after spending the night up in the alfresco. On the way back to his room, he demanded restitution in the form of free room service or some of those damn pillows. I found Mr. Worthington to be quite unreasonable and abusive on the phone. And skipping down a bit, Mr. Worthington is causing trouble once again. So apparently he claims that the carpeting on the stairs leading to the alfresco lounge was coming up, which caused him to trip and fall down. He said he was making his way back to his room after a whole night up in the alfresco lounge and had an accident. As before, he demanded restitution in the form of free room service or some more of those damn pillows. Once again, I found it to be quite unreasonable and abusive on the phone. I believe we have now relinquished 23 pillows to this hotel regular over the last 10 months. So, yes, we've just got this random guy who spends a lot of time at the hotel, who goes up to the bar, gets drunk, as a result has a small accident, and tries to get more and more pillows out of the hotel. I do not know what this guy's deal is, but I love him. And one more note here, Incident Level 1, Major Seneca Clarkson. Miss Clarkson was found dead in room 302 in the bed in a state of undress. She had been suffocated by a plastic bag placed over her head and couldn't help herself from this predicament due to her limbs being tied to the bedpost. The man who reported the incident was taken into custody and said it was only a bit of fun. Miss Clarkson is well known to be a highly valued escort for this facility, and it is assumed she perished in the line of duty. So okay, that might tell us a bit about, the sort of thing that goes on in this hotel, given apparently the hotel knew that escort services were using their hotel and considered them very welcome and indeed very valued. So just keep that in mind as we go forwards. But yes, how about we now nip out of the hotel, back onto Vernon Square itself, and mosey on back on ourselves, because it's time for us to go and visit the hospital. This, however, is once again not the right door, though it's by far the most obvious one out on the street. Instead, just, moseying to these ruins right here that are previously filled with super mutants when you first arrive. Just double back on yourself and mosey through all of this, because then we get the entrance we really want. The back door from the street. And the reason we want to go in this way is because this brings us straight to a terminal that is very, very useful indeed. The turret control system. Not this one though. This is obviously, a trap, given the twirly bit on the top. So just crack you open, buddy. And in just a second, I'm pretty sure I hear some, trouble in the background. Now my super mutant friends are nice and distracted, and also taking a bit of damage. Lovely. Just open fire on them, get a couple of crits in. Yeah, this is going to be a nice distraction. Soften a few of them up. Spectacular. Though today, for the most part, looks like I've been, pretty on the lucky side. These are just basic brutes, so they are going down and no trouble whatsoever. Oh, and perfect timing, that just pushed me up into level 28. Spectacular. So, okay, what do we need today? I'm going to be honest, repair is actually, somewhat useful during this mission. Whether I can really get my repair high enough for it to actually, make a difference, I don't know. But screw it, I'm going to give it a go. Oh, and 100% I'm taking Nerves of Steel. I just enjoy that too much not to. So okay, AP refresh rate is now going to be much, much better. Combine that with Grim Reaper's Sprint rank 2. Oh, we are going to be using a lot of VATs. I love it. So okay, just mop up all of the ammo that the super mutants have highly conveniently left for me. Marvellous. Curiously, yes, coming in from the street is also something of a shortcut, because you can just come in, cross this room, and you're straight up to the second floor, pretty much ready to go straight over to the hotel. Whereas, if you come up via the sewer, you end up way down over there deep in the ward, so there's plenty more enemies and whatnot that need to be taken care of. Though, yes, can't deny, today we're going back into the wards anyway, because there's one more thing I want to check out round here. Number one, you've got a huge number of, first aid boxes, so it's a great spot to just top up your medicine while you're passing by. Number 2, you've actually got a friend you can recruit. So yes, just round the corner from the front main door that I did not want to use. Just crack you open nice and quick. And we've got a lovely Mr. Handy who, now he's been released, will start patrolling the hallways and helping you out. He's going to die horribly, like almost immediately, but screw it, it's nice to have the help. And 3, we've got the nurse's station. Because the reports here do rather add to the picture we started putting together over in the Statesman Hotel. Tom Malone suffered extreme muscle injury to the groin area. Admitted by staff from the Statesman Hotel with an extremely painful pull in the groin, he indicated he was in the company of one Miss Seneca Clarkson at the time, but would not disclose what caused it. Obviously, we now know that Miss Seneca Clarkson was a high-class escort, very known and valued by the hotel itself. But yes, there were definitely a lot of adult rendezvous occurring at the Statesman. And secondly, it's my favourite man in all the world, Harold Worthington III, who, yes, apparently was doing not so hot on account of one of the injuries that was mentioned over in the hotel. So, fell and slipped on some water caused by a faulty ice machine. However, please note that Mr. Worthington asked for at least 8 pillows to help him sleep, and when the room was cleaned the next day after he was discharged, they were all gone. So, for some reason, this man just travels from building to building, stealing all the pillows he can find. I do not know what his deal is, I don't know why he needs this many pillows, but seriously, I love this man. He's just the best. So, with a giant pile of medicine in hand, let's get back to business, because not 100% sure what just exploded there, but I don't seem to be dead, so I'm sure it's fine. Yes, indeed, we can now get straight up to the second level. Though, to be honest, the second floor is, yes, rather on the uninteresting side. It's just a pile of mutant that leads you to where you're really trying to get. Which is one more flight of stairs to, here we go, Vernon Square, or to be precise, the Sky Bridge linking the 2 buildings. This is the only way to get to the upstairs in the Statesman Hotel. Lovely. And now that we're here, the hotel is really rather interesting. In particular, yes, there are a couple of secrets buried away in this location. As well as a fair few traps, because yes, indeed, Reilly's Rangers were trying to make sure they wouldn't be followed, etc, etc. So, just be aware. You might need to deal with the traps left by the Rangers when they were passing through. Which is why there's also a giant pile of corpses here, rather conveniently. But once you do start moving up in the world, and basically, yes, that's your objective, just keep going up and up and up, then here we go, right here off the main corridor to the left on the second floor. We have got here a skeleton. A skeleton sitting next to, yeah, some nice ammunition, even more ammunition right there, but more importantly, a note from Little Moonbeam's father.
My dearest little Moonbeam, I know you've been waiting to hear what happened to me. I'm sorry I left you like I did. An important deal came up. One that might have let us get away from the shack we were living in. I came to the Statesman Hotel to meet the buyer, and the deal went bad. We shot each other, and now I think I'm dying. I won't make it out of this place. The ruins are crawling with super mutants. All I can do is record this and then hide up in one of the rooms. You're a strong girl, and I know you can use everything I taught you to survive alone. Please forgive me, sweetie. I only wanted to make the best for us. Daddy loves you very much. Goodbye.
So there we go. Sydney was not abandoned. Her father was killed during a botched deal of some description when he thought he might be able to get enough money together to build a better life for them. So naturally we'll be, nipping over to see Sydney later, but for the time being while we're here, how about we wrap up our business in the hotel? Then, of course, there's Theo. It's literally impossible to, yes, miss the chappie because you have to go by this stairwell in order to make your way up the hotel. And as you can see, yes, special box asset to indicate the only way to open this is via the key code. And there is a lot of bloody ammunition inside. You can either keep this and use it yourself, or down the line, choose to hand it over to the Rangers. Funny old thing about Theo, of course, is, yes, despite being a ranger, he's not wearing ranger armor. He's only wearing basic merc gear. The reason being, of course, one of the rewards for this mission is ranger armor. So if you could just get the armor off this guy, then you wouldn't need the armor that Reilly was offering you. You'd already have some. So I guess that's why poor Theo just didn't have his armor on today. Ah, yes, and the reason I was trying to boost up repair, because there is a rather cute moment right here in this hotel, which is, you can bypass some of the super mutants if you can repair up the elevator. This is not the same elevator, by the way, that goes down to the bottom floor. Instead, this is just a way to skip up a floor or two. So if we can, hang about, might be possible to repair. Do I want to do it? Okay, apparently the skill check on that was much lower than I thought it was. So yeah, I could just use this to skip up to the top floor. But we're not going to be doing that because, yes indeed, there's one more thing I want to grab first. Here we go, there's a corridor right here with a small cupboard off it. Nothing remarkable in the slightest aside from one small thing, which is, yes, just put together a few pieces of information that we now know about this location, which is, this was an expensive hotel. The sort of hotel where people with names as fancy as Harold Worthington III stayed on a regular basis. This was also a hotel where high-class escorts plied their trade, with the full knowledge and approval of the hotel staff. Basically, this is a hotel where potentially some very rich, powerful, important people might have been conducting some rather embarrassing indiscretions. And what do we find in a staff cupboard upstairs in that hotel? We find a Chinese Army Spec Ops training manual, and these are often placed very carefully, in locations it makes sense for the Chinese to be infiltrating. Government buildings, army bases, industrial centres. And there's one right here in this hotel. Now, I can't prove for certain that either this hotel was a Chinese front designed to dig up dirt that could be used for blackmail against important Americans, or maybe on a smaller scale that a couple of Chinese agents were embedded here, maybe just to keep an eye on various important people who might be sticking around and blackmailing them. But yes, I would like to think the evidence does potentially point that way. I should note, by the way, I have spared you, yes, the pain of watching me take on a giant pile of super mutants. There are so many cooking super mutants in this place, but yes, we finally made it to the famous alfresco lounge where Harold Worthington III kept getting incredibly drunk, falling over, and then needing yet more pillows for reasons unclear. This area is, yes, where you can just skip to if you fix up the elevator. So you can get from the mid-level straight up to here, crack open this door, and you're pretty much where you should be immediately. Mega-flippin'-nificent, though. One thing to grab on the way past. We might be needing this momentarily. Here we go. One maintenance robot gets me one fission battery. But yes, you might be needing that in just a moment, but let's mosey on to our real destination, up onto the roof, to finally meet the bloody Rangers. And straight away, we're walking into a world of, yes, explosions and corpses and diddly-diddly-dee. Nothing to grab off them, unfortunately. Just keep going on. Lovely bits of giblets flying by as you go. I do enjoy the giblets just flying by. So yes, indeed, the Rangers are giving as good as they get, to be honest. There are many, many dead super mutants. This is a well-done set piece, by the way. You do get the feeling they are doing a good job fighting the bastards back. So, hi guys, don't worry, reinforcements have arrived.
Hey you, get your ass over here before you attract every super mutant in the building.
Okay, there are no super mutants in the building. I've already killed them.
Okay now, who the heck are you and when are reinforcements coming?
So, fun fact, I'm the reinforcements.
Hang on there. First I need to know if Reilly is okay. I assume she made it somewhere if you're here.
Yep, she is absolutely fine, resting in Underworld, not a problem, Butcher. And yes, perhaps part of the reason why Butcher wants to know that immediately is, if you've already been to their compound, you know that Butcher and Reilly are sleeping together. So yes, he might have a more than professional interest in Reilly's well-being.
That's a relief. I told her she was nuts when she decided to try to sneak out of here. Guess I was wrong. Now, let's talk about getting out of here. I would have proposed going back the way you came, but apparently it's impossible now. So, the express elevator is our only solution.
And that's the one that leads straight down to the lobby that we cleared out earlier. So unfortunately, yes, it wasn't working previously, no power.
You're right, what we need is something to power the elevator motor up here and get the thing going. On the way up here, I'm pretty certain we passed a maintenance room. Inside was a wrecked Protectron. If you can get me its fission battery, I can have Donovan jury-rig the elevator.
Unfortunately, I've already got that. Though yes, sufficient repair does actually do the job too. Here we go, 75 repair, which yes, even with my newly improved skills, is a bit on the excessive side. So it's up to Donovan to do that with the fission battery, which I could give him right now. But before we do, oh Brick, you are a magnificent bastard and I love you.
Brick's the name, and I call this fine-looking room sweeper Eugene. We've had a lot of fun together mowing down super mutants, but I think it's time we get off this roof.
Here we go. You can now choose to give her ammunition. I have no idea if this does anything, by the way, because they seem to fight perfectly well, even if you don't give them the ammo. So I have no idea if this makes any difference to how effectively they get through the super mutants or anything. But I'm going to do it anyway, damn it.
Oh, hell yeah!
Seriously, Brick is just the best.
I love turning the muties into a fine red mist with my gun.
No, seriously, Brick is just the best. Yes, though Butcher does have one other interesting thing to say, picking up on what Reilly was talking about earlier.
There's something about this area. I can't put my finger on it, but just like the mall, there's an unusually high concentration of super mutants. If I had the time and resources, I'd investigate. All I care about now is getting the hell off this damn roof.
Now, there is actually an answer to this, though I was unlucky enough to not stumble across it, which is super mutants in Our Lady of Hope can bump into each other, and if they do, they may generate some incidental dialogue about looking for green stuff. That's why they're in the hospital. They figured out it's a source of chemicals and medicine and diddly-diddly-dee, and they're working under the assumption, therefore, they might be able to find some of the FEV vats there. We know that's a false hope, but they don't. And basically, many locations where you find super mutants, you can actually explain why they're there if you consider what they're actually trying to achieve. So for example, the Museum of Technology. Why are they in that? Well, because there's a Vault-Tec exhibition, and they're under the impression that vaults contain the green stuff. They don't know that 1, not all vaults do, and 2, the Museum of Technology, it's not actually a vault. It's just a fake vault made as part of an exhibition. But they decided to occupy the building anyway. The same reason they're inside Our Lady of Hope. Though yes, as I say, unfortunately during this playthrough, I didn't overhear any super mutants saying it. Okay, Donovan, here's the battery, let's get moving.
Let me have that thing. Give me a few minutes, and I'll have the elevator up and running. As soon as I get it online, we'll get out of here.
Now, I'm not sure whether I've actually ever, bothered dealing with the lobby before coming up to these guys, so I have no idea whether potentially there might now be no super mutants waiting downstairs for us. So just mosey on down and hang about, we're upstairs. Well, it all seems nice and... Oh, hang on, there's definitely... No! Some more have spawned in, though something is wrong with your head, apparently. Right, just pin it to the wall with a couple of railway rifle shots. Magnificent. Now, the problem's going to be... Okay, so far, just basics. In the event of, overlords, there could be a problem. A lovely head pinned to the wall right there. All we really need, though, is, a single one of them to survive. If they all die, Reilly's very upset and it kind of messes up everything. But if just a single one of them makes it out, that's good news. So fortunately, the railway rifle is an absolute flipping beast. We should be able to knock these bastards down. Just a handful right here. Hang about, that is. Okay, that's a master, but point blank range, right in the head. Oh yeah, look at that right there. Magnificent. Pin your head to the ground and... if we're lucky, that should be your lot. Though, yes indeed. Funny old thing about this mission, which is, the best option is kind of to let these guys die. Because if you get them all out, Reilly basically says, okay, now you can pick between Ranger Armor and Eugene. Brick's gun. It's established she's got several, that's why she's willing to give it away. But, yes, if you just let the Rangers die here to the super mutants, then, as a result of that, you can take Eugene off Brick's corpse. And the Ranger Armor of everybody's corpse. So basically, yes, letting everyone die is a superior result to letting them live. But I'm going to let them live, because 1, I'm a good person, and 2, I want Reilly on sides. Unfortunately, by this point, yes, Reilly is no longer at Underworld. She's made her way back to the compound, and we can just fast travel to her because we've been there before. Lovely. And good news, Reilly, as you've hopefully already noticed, everybody made it back and no casualties.
I'm very impressed at your skill. I don't think I've come across someone quite like you in the ruins. I suppose I owe you a debt, and I intend to pay it in kind. So, for your reward, what'll it be? The Ranger battle armor, or one of Brick's miniguns?
I'm going to be honest, both are kinda terrible. Admittedly, yes, to the right character in the right situation, they can be pretty good. The armor is a decent bit of armor. It does boost luck, which is nice, but yes, my luck is already maxed out, and it does boost AP by 5. Which is okay, but there are much better pieces of apparel for boosting AP. Like the special unique hockey mask we picked up in a previous episode, that boosts AP by 5 times as much. So yes, at this point, given I've already got power armor, that's not my thing. The minigun, however, is decent. It's just a straight up upgrade from a standard minigun. More damage per shot, meaning way more DPS. It's a good solid weapon. Whether I'll ever use it, I don't know, but it's better than the armor, so I'll just be taking that. Though really you don't need to worry about it, because no matter what you pick, there is still plenty of opportunity to get the other one down the line. So that gets me a giant pile of XP, lovely, but Reilly, we're not done with you yet, because yes indeed, as we know from her terminal, the reason they were there at all is because someone, a mysterious Mr. Smith, is paying them to map the DC ruins. And I would be more than happy to assist with that, Reilly.
You'd risk your neck for me like that?
I mean, yes, but I do want paying as well.
Don't worry, I'll compensate you for your time. For every map marker you uncover in the capital wasteland, I'll pay you a fair sum in bottle caps. All you have to do is find them, come back here, and I'll get them off your Pip-Boy there.
And I am genuinely curious how much money I'm about to make, because the first time you begin this, you can retroactively turn in every location you've discovered. And I've discovered a lot of bloody locations. Oh, flip me, 4,110 caps. Okay, that is actually significantly more than I was expecting. Bloody hell, that was a good payday. So, yes indeed, as I was just saying, there are opportunities to get the armor or Eugene if you want both, and you only got to pick one. So for example, yes, you can just kill these people right now, and congratulations, you've got the armor. And fascinatingly, there is nothing to stop you pickpocketing Eugene off Brick. Even if you yourself have got Eugene in your inventory. Because yes, apparently there are multiple Eugenes. So you can just help yourself to a second right now. Or take the armor, then immediately pickpocket it, and congratulations, you've now got both. And at this point, if you want, you can use this place as a bit of a base, though to be honest, it's, yes, a bit of a terrible one. Because everybody here is awful at their jobs. Butcher, for example, is a doctor, and he will heal you for free. That's magnificent, but he doesn't offer any other services. So, yes, he can't, for example, deal with rads or addiction, so he is objectively inferior to every other doctor in the Wastelands. And as for Donovan, if he can just stop rotating on the spot for a second, yes, he's a repair person. An absolutely cocking, awful repair person. His repair skill is 11. It's just absolutely dreadful. So basically, yes, in conclusion, the Rangers are terrible at their jobs. But don't forget, we picked up one more thing back in the Statesman. A note that may be of great interest to Sydney. Though the trick is going to be whether or not we can actually give it to her, because Sydney is one of those characters who very often just sort of disappears on journeys. So yes, I've seen many occasions where she simply doesn't make it to Underworld ever. I don't know whether she just ceases to exist, or gets killed en route, or just gets lost or something. Who bloody knows? It's a Bethesda game. But, yes, I'd give it like 50-50 tops whether she's actually going to be here. Holy flip me, she actually made it though, just like Donovan, she is freaking the flip out. So, Sydney, I have got some good news for you.
Well, 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 if it isn't the greatest American hero. Or Abraham Washington's greatest, anyway. I figured we'd bump into each other again. What brings you all the way out to Goulsville?
And good news, Sydney, I have got myself, hang about, a note from your father. It turns out he did not abandon you after all.
What? Oh my God. That's his voice. It's really him. I can't believe you brought this to me. Oh, I don't know what to say, but thank you. Wait, here. Take my 10mm Ultra SMG. It's never let me down. Besides, I won't really need it anymore.
And there we flipping go, you get the Ultra SMG without having to kill Sydney. This was the right thing to do, damn it. And as for why she says she doesn't need it anymore, it's because she's not actually in the relic hunting business. Instead, she's now set herself up as a permanent shop. Another reason you might want to keep her alive. Because she's basically a dedicated ammo trader, and honestly there are not that many shops in Fallout 3 that sell a really good amount of ammo. Like, there's no real equivalent to the Gunrunner's Arsenal in the DC Ruins, so having an additional shop that sells giant piles of ammo, genuinely pretty bloody useful. So there we go, Reilly is safe, her team has made it home, Sydney has got closure, and I'm cocking rich. So basically, everybody bloody wins. And on that happy note, how about we call it a part there? Because next week, okay, we're going into a mystery episode. I've not decided what we're going to be looking at next week yet, so yes indeed. Bit of a mystery for you, so hopefully you join me next week to find out. But in the meantime, I've been John, this has been many a true nerd. And this has been Fallout, Tale of Two Wastelands. Thank you very much, and goodbye. If we just hide the bodies, nobody needs to know about this. Yes! My stupid plan has worked! It turns out I'm a genius! The giant rat scorpion is not gone! Oh, hang on, there's more yet though, I'm still being very shocked. Guys, where's the NCR? Nobody needs to know.